Hello YouTube, Validation Boy here. I have to be honest guys, sitting down to write this, I found myself totally uninspired. The Flat Earth scene on YouTube has become outright depressing for a lot of people lately. Those out here gifted enough understand that the time for trying to prove the Flat Earth with science is done. Unfortunately, these same people are also starting to feel as though they're stagnating in an intellectual vacuum. Many Flat Earth hangouts do indeed devolve into echo chambers and are typically devoid of any new, real, or inspiring information. Many believe we may be failing to move forward as intellectuals by continuing to participate in them. I must disagree. Flat Earth is, and always was, meant to be an inward journey. We are continuing to learn more about ourselves every time we take part in these hangouts. Well, most hangouts that is. It appears that somewhere along the way, this stopped being about furthering the development of our minds and has instead become a race towards some imaginary flat earth throne in the sky. I think back to John LeBon and how he may simply have been ahead of his time when he called the flat earth YouTube scene a cult. Long ago, he warned us all about how the most popular flat earth channels were trying to intermingle a bunch of garbage into the scene's organically occurring dialogue, and that such ridiculous rabbit holes were nothing more than obedience training and loyalty tests. He theorized, and I'm paraphrasing here, that if these top names could get flat earthers to follow whatever nonsensical filler they were propping up at that time, then down the road they could get them to follow just about anything. He then pointed out that a lot of merchandise was being sold, and that there could be great potential for people to pull off some really big scams around here. Originally, I was of course utterly opposed to this notion, seeing as how things seemed safely confined to YouTube and Facebook, but as it turns out, many of the predictions JLB made are starting to come true. I wouldn't exactly say Flat Earth has become a cult, but instead that it is becoming more of a culty business market, which of course the self-declared sacred cows of the Flat Earth YouTube scene fully intend to head up. It makes me sick, and definitely not because of some kind of contrived narrative about jealousy that these cretins would love for you to subscribe to. Nobody is jealous of the top names. Nobody is jealous of the games they are forced to play in order to maintain their positions. In reality, the top YouTube flat earthers are just a bunch of overly ambitious backstabbers and cutthroats who are trying to create a cozy little proprietary niche that they can dominate. But this is what they've always wanted. Soon, HBO and CNN will be involved. All their dreams are coming true. Jaren and Bobby have finally weaseled their way to within close proximity of the big time. It's looking like all their incredibly hard work might finally pay off. We've already seen the crazy payouts these super chats have brought in for channels greedy enough to exploit them. The real question is, what do the people donating to these beggars think their money is actually going to? Are people really expected to believe that they need to pay Jaren so he can continue to make videos? Just like with all the other Flat Earth YouTube beggars, the money people give them is probably just going towards their credit card debts and electric bills. And frankly, why would anyone with half a brain want to pay for that? Besides, Jaren puts out videos anyway, and so do tons of other much more interesting content providers. When you think about it, all he really does is repeat ideas from past conversations and shows, or from other people's videos. It's never anything new at all. He's never going to run out of material this way, so what's stopping him and his friends from making careers out of this, right? It's already happened though. Flat Earth is officially nothing more than a job for these wannabes. In the future, we can be sure they'll try to justify anything and everything they do in retaliation to those they've dubbed Naysayers. We've all seen them on their huge platforms, misquoting their enemies, putting words in people's mouths, and wrongly attributing ideologies to people who have no way of defending themselves in the moment. We've seen the terrorist armies of wrenches. We all know about Carly Scumshine and the fact that her entire life is about controlling narratives. We all saw her on Flat Earth UK Live bragging about how many thousands of people she's in charge of thought policing. This basket case's globe-dwelling, God-hating SJW mentality has been fully exposed. Maybe we should just abandon Carly and her toxic friends' suspicious narratives altogether. What we should really be asking ourselves is this: why are these popularity-driven sickos so good at creating enemies? In fact, how does a flat earther even become enemies with the bum kings of the flat earth to begin with? Well, the answer to that last question is actually quite simple. Say even the slightest thing wrong or question them in any way whatsoever, and you'll taste the ban hammer quicker than you can say $8,000 rocket decal. This is the kind of behavior you get from the group of people who've decided they should be your leaders. These are the ones who claim they love you so much. These are the people who accuse guys like me of trying to tear apart their precious community. Well, first, I'd like to know exactly which community they're talking about. Is it the community where flat earthers still have the guts to interact directly with their closest opposition? Is it the community where real Flat Earth proponents have the testicular fortitude it takes to face our intellectual nemesis head on, without mute buttons, without wrenches, without sniping, without talking over one another, or worse yet, playing music over our opponents' responses? Or is it the other Flat Earth community, where the top names can maintain the illusion in which their utter hypocrisies continue to be swept under rugs made of stunt rocket pixie dust? Have we been reduced to an army of idiotically collectivist dystopians, blindly following every order we are given? The real reason the top names in Flat Earth hate individualists like Validation Boy is because we're the only ones out here trying to keep the community from being suckered into donating to something that could easily evolve into a network of Ponzi schemes. Problem is, noobs donate. That's why noobs are their target demographic. The fascist Cub Scouts of the FEVBC army have been laying their band slime on pretty thick these days. In fact, it's gotten so bad, we commonly see people with contrary opinions being forced to donate money just to be heard in chats. Why are the top Flat Earth channels so scared of free speech? Here at Validation Boy, we don't believe in wrenches. We all know that drama equals passion. Real members of the community can sort things out, right in the open. They don't need to hide behind a wall of lemming-like FEVBCs with impotent little blue wrenches. Stooges who are all so desperate to belong to something special, they were willing to be vetted by this scuzz bucket just so they can participate in his elitist live chats. That's right, you heard me. Even commies and fascists have elitists at the top of their hierarchy structures, and IPS's channel is no different. All they do is complain about drama, yet they dedicate more time to this subject than any other. Even then, this is just one of the many ways they copy the ideas of smaller and much more original channels. Despite the apparent elevated status they enjoy within that fake community they're constantly trying to reinforce in your minds, they still can't seem to escape the drama. I would suggest that this fact alone proves, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that these people are mere leeches whose sole concern is money. Real interaction with foolish patrons is the last thing on their minds. They don't give a damn about anything their stupid devotees say, unless it's something that could be hijacked, manipulated, and then used to strengthen their brand. Those of us who see through this group have watched on as they've manipulated their way to where they are today. We all know that for them, this is nothing short of a war for the top spot. Take a look at IPS for example. He has in reality provided zero Flat Earth content to this community. All he really seems to be good at is generating revenue for his suspect causes thanks to some super shady marketing skills. Then you've got Globebusters and Jaren. They always seem to keep their friends close but their enemies closer. It's always a competition with these guys, isn't it? At least this latest ally of theirs hates Jesus just as much as they do. Maybe this time, a bit more of an authentic bond can form between these scam artists before they stab each other in the back. Jaren is hell-bent on hitting the big time, as we all know. Bob has been messing around in the arena of conspiracy theory for years, and I'm sure he would love nothing more than to become the David Icke or the Jordan Maxwell of Flat Earth. Despite this, it seems as though he's ready to take a backseat to Jaren and play more of a handler role. He seems to be okay with simply living vicariously through his younger and slightly more charismatic apprentice. It's not yet clear how far IPS wants to follow through with this particular subject, however, I am sure he plans to leave a huge mark on the Flat Earth scene. Whether or not he will leave behind a helpful and positive legacy is yet to be determined. Just today, in fact, he proved just how much he worships at the altar of our slave masters by begging YouTube to strike down one of my videos. But that's because he hates freedom. He despises humanity. As the days and weeks pass, it becomes more and more clear to me that, within this group of people, it's all about that fame and money. This is not about progress for the Flat Earth cause. It's about progress for their particular brands. This group is always saying that there doesn't need to be any leaders in the Flat Earth, but they seem to be the ones putting all of their effort into becoming those very leaders. Keep in mind, they're not actually showing leadership by doing this. They are merely revealing their totalitarian tendencies. They want all of us to know that they are more than willing to slash throats and step on heads to get to where they want to be. And when you think about it, Morgile might actually be the most clever part of this entire marketing scheme. It's starting to look as though he's playing the role of controlled opposition to his partners Bob and Jaren. And now that IPS has been introduced into their narrative, Morgile is getting even more of the spotlight. You know he's loving that. As a Flat Earth conservative, I of course feel that the Flat Earth discussion needs to stay organic. By now, we should all be well aware of the fact that the Flat Earth doesn't live on billboards or in mainstream news articles. The top names keep acting like the mainstream media is going to have this community's best interests at heart as they deal with us, even though anyone with an ounce of common sense knows otherwise. They seem rather determined to take this thing all the way, no matter how many enemies it means they have to create for themselves. I've personally been told by these characters to leave Flat Earth so many times, I've lost count by now. So maybe I should. I have been living my life in post-Flat Earth fashion for several years at this point, so there really isn't much reason for me to stick around. Anyone else who's been in this as long as I have is probably thinking the exact same thing as they listen to this. People like me know that this community doesn't need Bob or Jaren. It doesn't need IPS. It never did. Listen to me, people. Do the right thing. Take a stand and stop letting them fill your head with subconscious brand reinforcements. They're no longer educating you. They certainly don't entertain you. All you're doing at this point is helping them line their pockets. Be your own leader. Live your life in post-Flat Earth fashion. You don't need validation from big science to prove the Flat Earth. You don't even need to prove the Flat Earth at all. We need to stop playing this game by their rules. Let's get real. Flat Earth is something we know for a fact we will never be able to prove. But does this make the idea any less spiritually liberating? No, it doesn't. Why not just enjoy what we have? Why rob ourselves of the benefits we reap from this magnificent inward journey? Why not simply enjoy being the person who is operating at a deeper level than the countless stooges surrounding you? It's as if nobody takes any pride in being an individual anymore. Because think about it, does every single idiot you meet in your life really deserve to know about this tremendously empowering secret? It's quite sad that IPS and others have been so intimidated by my message of Flat Earth conservatism. They've done a great job twisting my words into something that had nothing to do with my original intentions. I wish they could find the integrity within themselves to come clean about their failures as fellow Flat Earthers in this matter. But considering everything we know about these people, it is clear that this will probably never happen. Forget what these fools are saying about me. I'm not proposing that we keep this thing hidden. Not at all. Of course, we as Flat Earthers should continue to let people know about this monumental shift in consciousness. We just need to do it the right way, organically, one-on-one discussion, not through magnets of mockery like obnoxious billboards and hoaxed airplane banners. I hope that the real Flat Earth community out here understands why I've chosen to take this stance. This is about integrity. We can't let this thing be taken from us by a small handful of globe-minded control freaks attempting to skate their way through life on the back of this blessing which our Creator has so graciously revealed to us. And one last thing. To all you haters out there who want to say the Flat Earth is imploding, it's not. It just has a few unsightly growths on its face that need removing. As always, much love and much respect to all in the real Flat Earth community. And thanks for watching.